Well, hello, shell buddies, and welcome back to the Eshway Bijou channel once again. Thank you for joining along as we continue our coverage of what happened to this area following Helene and Milton. I've had a number of requests for South Lido Beach. We did try to get out there. We were chased off the beach, as you'll see here in a little while, and we're going to give you a look at some of the local favorites like Sandcastle, Sarasota Sands, Lido Beach Resort, Key Towers, things like that. Let's get on out to South Lido Key and take a look.
We're trying to keep people out of the park because of the hazards. It's not open yet.
Now, I don't want to make my channel consistently about hurricane damage, but I do want to show you what has changed and what has happened here so that you have a frame of reference, especially if you have reservations to come down here sometime in December, January, February timeframe, and you might not really be sure what things look like by then. We're not sure what they're going to look like by then either, but I can tell you the cleanup is full on rolling in a number of places and isn't happening in others. I'm also going to preface this video by saying we found an incredible amount of shells out there along with what we saw otherwise. So shelling videos for these locations post-storm are going to be coming, but I am trying to give folks a little bit of a frame of reference of what things look like before Helene and what things look like now after Milton. And go ahead and hit that subscribe button and stay tuned for more and the latest on the conditions in and around this particular area of the central Gulf Coast of Florida. Let's get on over to South Lido Key and take a look.
I'm not sure how I'm going to feel about this first look at Lido.
Yeah, I know.
There's the walkway to the right. Oh, that's blocked. Never mind. Still full of sand. What strange little units, though. Oh my gosh, there's like 1.5 feet of sand in these things. And John, they don't look like storage. They look like little offices. They're all painted and decorated. Oh my goodness.
Look at how much sand is on it.
Yeah, a good 1.5 feet of sand goes through here. What's the pool look like? Empty. That means I got the sand out of it, right? Wow, look at that. It ripped the railings right off of the pool, John. The handrails. Holy crow. The earth is really flat. It ends right there.
Look at you! She can walk up here, Jeff.
Oh, it ain't that bad.
Ugh. Hills kind of suck.
But it's packed.
Oh my gosh, I don't think I've ever seen this much sand here. Like,
Well, they've been working.
whoa. This is crazy. Gracious. I think I'm on the second highest spot on Lido Beach. Maybe that one right there is the highest. Boy, that looks like a steep approach down too. Oof. So, getting our first look at Lido Key since the 1-2 punch of Helene and Milton. Oh yeah, this is a big hill. Holy Moses. I see the rocks though, and we're not far from them. And I'm marveling that there's shells even all the way up here. The watercolor is still terrible here. I'm wondering if that's going to be any better at the point where the water moves a little more. Because this part of the island, as you can see, is sort of in a bowl. See like how it curves in and back around, and then it goes kind of back out where those rocks are. And yeah, the water quality looks just gross. Now, whatever shells are on this beach or have been on this beach, and wherever this sand came from, I don't know, but we got two different animals here too. This is Lido Key sugar sand, right here. Very light, quartz crystal pounded fine sand, sugary fine. See it sticking? Now that stuff is a lot chunkier. So I'm not positive where exactly this came from. But it's clearly not the same color as this. Here's the thing. Whatever washed up here may not all be Lido sand. Some of it may be from Turtle Beach below them because of the way that the wind and water direction we're moving. It might explain the darker sand. Because clearly this ain't the same stuff. Texture's different, color's different, just different. So we are behind the Sandcastle, and it looks like there's damage to the roof there at the fascia, right at the edge. Damage to just about every unit on the bottom floor because the windows and stuff are pulled out of them. Lido Key Beach Resort fared a little better. The pool took some sand and some damage, but didn't do too badly over there. Some of the thatch is missing off of the tiki huts, but Sandcastle, on the other hand, took it pretty tough.
The Sandcastle was recently acquired by Ocean Breeze in Properties, and they do have affiliated properties in other areas. However, they are not accepting reservations here at this location on South Lido Beach. But here is a great picture for what it used to look like. Keep that in mind.
All right, well, if you want to see what happened to Sandcastle, here we go. Got caution tape around it, but I don't see evidence that much has been done here, because all of these rooms, the sand level just carries right on in. Look how it pushed that door frame and casing back like that, moved the furniture, lifted it up, flung it around. Whoa.
Yeah, and all that stuff dragged out of the windows, folks, that's what's left of the curtains in many cases.
Yeah, they haven't even gotten to almost anything over here yet. At least not this far back.
They won't.
I don't know what the story is with this place. I've read a few different things online. One saying that eventually it was gonna be torn down, but I don't know if that's true. Either way, it's very sad. Popular little spot down here on Lido toward the south end with all these you got condos down here and some of the older school resorts, and it's just sad. It's just really sad. What an incredible amount of sand got moved into those rooms though. A couple feet worth at least. I'd say it's on par with what we saw out at Sunset Beach, where the garages were full and the the cars had floated. Except this is couches and beds, but they're tiki huts out here. Got kind of beat up too. I mean, they're here. Well, those three are. And that, I imagine, led to the lobby. Yep. Tore this place apart. apart and flooded it with sand.
It's kind of a little tricky to get information about this place, actually. I first had to find out that Ocean Breeze Inn had bought this property so that I could find their website. And there is a news story from a few years ago that they were going to be transforming this into a luxury resort. Look at that. They were going to make it the same height as Key Towers and the other stuff further down. That's the artist rendering. Well, people had a fit. They dug in and fought. They didn't want the views down there ruined. They didn't want these big monster resorts to continue to keep going down there. And they put up a fuss about it, and the developers ended up pulling out of those plans. So now I'm not really sure what's going to happen to this place.
You can see daylight through one of them, I think, unless that's a mirror. But yeah, they haven't started anything from this side at all. Now there had been a big pile of debris and stuff dragged out to the front when we came through here the last time, and that maybe have been the units that were closer up to the front, but nothing's been touched back here. Absolutely unreal. Alright, so when you look at the doors up above, like where the hardware's at, that's like 2 feet of sand, maybe 2.5 up, because it's all the way up to the door lock there. My goodness. Wow. Yeah, you can see daylight through a few of these. Went right through the wall. Floated that chair on top of that sand, which is clearly a couple feet thick, because it's up to where the door locks and the hardware goes. And it gets deeper as you go back. That's the crazy part. Like, it gets even deeper back in there. Unbelievable. Yeah, Sandcastle is in tough shape. Boy. I'm not sure if these buildings off to my left are also part of the same complex. They appear to be similar in color and construction. Well, pretty devastating down here. Just can't get over the amount of sand in here. Oh my gosh. The roof is damaged all over this property too. There's some on that building, that one right there in the middle, kind of down from where the green is. Over here too. Like, yeesh. Look at that. Concrete block wall. Look at the cracks. Whew. Dang. Alright, so this place is kind of got their beach cleaned off, mangroves pulled out, pool looks like it's being cleaned, and evidence that stuff is boarded up and that they're working on it, unlike the property right next door. So, a tale of two Lidos. It's getting worked on in some places, which is a good sign. Of course, the longer we go with some of these other places not getting the process started, makes me worry for them. Like that little shell shop and that little ice cream place in downtown Bradenton. Didn't look like when we came through there that any of the sand had been removed, much like what we just saw over at Sandcastle. I think it's fair to say that this event is going to change the face and landscape of the beach communities all along the central Gulf Coast of Florida, above us, below us. And the real question is, so what's it going to turn into? Oh my goodness! Look at their pool! Whoa! It's entirely filled. Oh my gosh. Wow. Man, backs of some of these places are just beat to tar. The sand is moved all over, stuff boarded up. Mercy. That one's kind of pretty. Oh boy. Some cool colors on that guy. Some fun pattern. He's a little soft worn, but you know, hey. Aren't we all right now? Look at this. There's some piles in here. Actually, this whole thing we're on, I think, is a big giant pile. It's just all jumbled up with the sand. It just looks so different here. There's two sets of rocks. We're at the second set right now. And there's a ginormous pile over here along these rocks all over the place. Up and in the rocks. And then I don't see a lot on the beach in between the two sets. But I would like to look closer at that next jetty too. Ooh, jackpot. Here we go. Alright. Onward and upward. The water tore away what was along the foundation over here. Broke those windows. Look what it did to the storm shutters. These roll down storm shutters broke the frames of the storm shutters. Which are nothing, well, useless. Looks like they're a little seating area and maybe there's a pool. It's probably all filled with sand too. Huh. There's shells on this side of the rocks too. Oh look, there's a little shutter that's over there that people have been stacking them on. Didn't even see that. What a nice auger. And another button or two or three. Look at that. Little button snails all over. And then this crazy most of a moon. Look at that dark colored ibis in the middle with all the rest of the white ones. I've never seen an ibis that color before. Some good sized bubbles and some cool worm snail pieces too. And what do we got here? A little drill, I think, of some kind. To get it cleaned up and be sure it's not a little baby horse conch, but it looks like a ripcanthus. Look at the back of this place. It's wrecked up. Look at the balconies up there. Holy cow. Big pile of sand and an unusual view here from where I'm standing at the rocks. I'm wondering how much of the point is left. Oh boy, Sarasota Sands looks roughed up. Get a little further over here. I think that's part of a porta potty. Ew. That's the thing about coming to the beach after a storm. You never know exactly what you're going to see. just look at the backside of Sarasota Sands. Wow. Everything on that whole first floor is already torn out right to the studs. So, yep, they flooded bad in there too. I'm just slow rolling right now. Trying to save my back a little because I want to see further down. Big pile of shells. The whole rock jetty exposed and filled in almost to where we could literally just walk right around it at low tide now. Am I seeing this right? Is the bottom of the point gone? Because it sure looks gone. And look at how this is all filled in over here on the backside of these rocks too. That's brand new. Whoa.
The shell piles over at South Lido were absolutely incredible, especially up by those rock jetties. I'm sure there's probably lots of fun things to be found down at the point, but it so happened that we were chased kind of off that area when we went to go take a look.
Hello.
You parked over here in that white SUV?
No ma'am, I have a van.
Van? Okay.
Yep.
Is he with you by chance?
Yes, I drove, so he's...
Okay, you guys aren't in that white SUV right here at the half circle?
No,
At
ma'am.
the entrance to the park? Okay.
No.
I'm trying to find them.
No ma'am, I figured I would get in trouble if I parked there, so I just...
Yeah.
We
Yeah, no
parked up a
parking
little
in the park's
farther.
closed. They're trying to keep people out of the park because of the hazards. It's not open yet. And everyone still just walks past all the closed signs, so...
Well, we came on quite a bit further up that way, but what I'm trying to get is video of what the bottom of the point looks like. I've been tracking the changes.
Closed.
I get that. I don't see that it's there.
It might not be everything. There's so much, like I said, there's so much damage in there. Everything got pushed in.
Yeah, I don't want to do anything but stay right along here and see, because I've been tracking video-wise. It's been getting bigger and bigger every storm, and now it looks like it's all that's been wiped out.
As
So
soon as you pass these rocks, you're no longer on a private beach. This is now the city or public, and it's closed. That's why I just advised them. They're moving up, and they said we walked all the way down. They're heading back, and that's what I'm trying to try to keep people up. It's still closed, and that's what the workers are just today trying to fix it. So unfortunately, past this point, you can't go, and this is considered private beach for these. So
Private. I'm not sure about that. According to the state constitution, mean high tide line, anything that gets wet basically is public. So I don't know that I would necessarily consider these beaches private, but that's neither here nor there right now. The point I'm trying to make is we weren't able to go down there.
this big amount of rocks did not used to be exposed. See where this dark line right here is? Where this stuff is washed up? That's kind of where the higher part of the sand used to be, and most of this was covered. Now, the sand is stripped off of all of this. And I mean, I've never seen this rock jetty look this big, like ever. Like ever. Now they are being pretty strict on keeping the park closed. They say due to hazards. I don't know. I don't see any big trees or anything like that here. Load of shells over here. They were looking for somebody who parked their SUV in the circle, babe. That's what she was looking for.
Who was that?
Sarasota PD. They're telling us no to the going down to the point either.
No, we can walk down as well.
They just chased them back up the beach, she said. Yep. I'm gonna come as far this way, which is sort of out in the water, I guess, and look south to the point, but I can tell that when we are allowed to be back in here, we got about half the walk, maybe. That whole point is just not even there. A big mess of that is gone. Now there was a cut in on the backside of where that mangrove patch is, where the water had swirled and carved out after Ian, and then after a few other storms filled back in. I suspect that may have been rearranged and changed too. We won't be able to know for sure until we can go down there, and that may be a few more days before they really open it up. But since they are patrolling down here, because they are working down here, I don't think I want to push my luck.
I haven't been able to get back down there. It's very difficult for me to get down there with the park closed because it's not all that close to get to it. And let's be honest, I don't move that great and I only have so much juice in me, and that's it. So what I have found was some online footage that was aerials comparing 22 to 24. So you can kind of get a look at the changes, and I'm also going to match that up with footage that I have from the point at this 1 week prior to Helene mark. So you have, again, like with Sunset Beach and Paso Grill and Longboat, a frame of reference to understand what things look like before, what things look like after, and can kind of put it all together. Without that frame of reference, it's hard to even conceive of what you're looking at if you don't know what it looked like before. Okay, here we're going to take a look at some footage from Wavescape today on YouTube, which is some really awesome aerial footage that shows you the bottom of Lido, and it's, whew, I can't believe the differences. Wow. But let's take a look at that. Let me just get that started. That's the point. Oh, that's the point. It's like gone. It's been growing and growing and growing since like Ian. And it's just, whoa. Look at the difference over there. That big long sand spit that we used to go out onto. And I'm always videoing it from and showing back. Look at that. Wow. From October. So that's right after Milton. You can see the sand just got into everything, the whole park. But yet, did you notice those rocks? Keep that in mind, because when we swing back around with their footage from 2022, you're going to see what it looked like in front of everything. It's so crazy. But yeah, right now, the park looks to be just buried in sand. Foliage stripped and salt scalded, I'm sure, as well. So there's been a lot of cleanup going on down that way. We're swinging around the backside, kind of from Sperling, looking over toward where like the resorts are there. The Sandcastle and the Sarasota Sands, I'm sorry, right there on the end, not Sandcastle. Look at the difference. Look at that. Look at that. Oh my gosh. Wow. Look at that sand spit as of July. That we kept, that's where we kept walking out to go out. When I say the point, that's what I mean, where all that sand is, because all the shells build up right there. So, oh my gosh. And now this is footage, I believe, from 2022. So in reality, that point had not been big forever. In May of 22, that would have been before Ian hit. I've felt like Ian is what made that little point right there on the end bigger. That's what made it grow. Because if you look where it is now in 22, it's rounded off. That same little carved in spot there is in the middle. And then as it swings around, you're going to see like how much more sand there is on that Gulf side, especially over by where that little resort is on the end. The Orchid's down over there, and Sarasota Sands is down over there. So, all right, here we are swinging around. Now, take a look. Where's the rocks? Do you see rocks? I don't see rocks. Well, you can see them now. And the end of this is all chopped up and moved around and carved in over between where the rocks are. Now, these sets of rocks are rock groins, they're called. And they're meant to keep sand from completely just running away. But I think what happens a little bit is on the back side of where these rocks are, things get carved a little bit, and stuff has a tendency to sort of get stripped in a way. Because if you compare that below picture from May of 22 to October, which is right now, well, November right now, and look at the difference in that beach, that's pretty astonishing. There's That's pretty wild. So, all right, I'm going to go ahead and get this stopped. Wow. That's a lot of sand moving around. That's a lot of sand moving around. So a lot of the sand that ended up in the park and the roads clearly were on that beach 2 years ago. And it's just a startling reminder for folks when they say, well, why did they build so close to the water? Because it wasn't always so close. It wasn't always so close at all. I've mentioned this a couple of times now where, and I've done so in the comments, not so much here in video, but even a few years ago when I moved here, there was a lot more sand on Lido and on Longboat, even over by Pass Grill, which has had a couple of renourishments and then a big dump of sand with this last whole storm. But so these barrier islands, they change all the time. They change all the time. Sometimes they're bigger and you aren't getting storms for a long while and you think everything is safe and good. And, you know, human beings, they tend to have short memories sometimes and they forget and think it's okay. And then a weather pattern cycle comes through that we weren't aware of and we start getting more storms. Then we go into periods where there's less. The El Nino, the La Nina thing, well, that goes on more than like a 25-year cycle. That goes on some other bigger cycles too. So it's important to remember that through the fossil record, we know Florida has been under and above water like 4 or 5 times. There didn't used to be a Tampa Bay. There didn't used to be an Everglades. There didn't used to be a Miami or any Keys. And that's repeatedly, not just one time in history. That's repeatedly through time. So as things move forward with recovery processes, I mean, you can't future plan out for 2,000 years from now, and I understand that, but I think it's important to remember that this planet does what it wants to do, whether we're trying to tell it no or not. We're really not in charge. We really never have been. Now, the first map I showed you was over a few million years. This is over just the last 14, 15,000 years. Take a look at how far out the water line used to be, where that red line is. And see that cluster of dots over there on the right-hand side? That's Pinellas. That's where Pass Grill and Fort DeSoto are. Crazy, right? Now, as I assured you, there are some shelling videos coming, especially for this location. It just so happened that a week before Helene hit, we had gone shelling right here at Lido Key South. So what you're going to see is some footage from then and then footage from after the storms, so you have a little basis of comparison to look at.
All right, we are on the water's edge. It's starting to sprinkle. And here come the terns and the gulls. Wow, that's like Hitchcock. Holy moly. Boy, the backside of the bend is starting to fill in and get steep over there. That used to be so flat, people would pull their boats up on it. Now look here in front of me, there's shells and all kinds of little rock piles right here. So this whole thing almost has been going underwater. Oh wow, 2 carve lines, that's wild. Okay, now you get the idea. When we're not here at low tide, right, this is what we usually see. This spot, this little narrow place to walk, I can get kind of around to the side and that's it. I was on the next one down. You can see how much that dropped from right here to just the edge of the sand. It's about 7 inches maybe. A little less that way, a little more that way. And this sand shelf is starting to overhang, so that's going to end up flopping down in there. Another operculum. Let's see this one here.
It's a horse.
No, that's a lightning whelk.
It's a what?
It's a lightning whelk. You can tell by the squared off spot on the bottom. That goes to a lightning whelk. And a fairly dark one. This is in really good shape. And that's another turtle. Awesome. See his little head and his little beak and his eye will go right there. Here's a little Julie fighting conch right here. He's a cutie. And another baby whelk. Ah! And another button. More pen shells. But boy, look at the size of these guys. Now this is a slightly different variety of the pen shell. You normally get those ones that are really a little bit darker and a little more ragged around the top. They're not much bigger lumps. And be happy with my juvie. Fighting conch, my juvie, welcome, my little button snail. Cute. You got a nutmeg, babe? Nice. Oop, there's one right there. Hey, that's a nice one. Awesome. It's starting to get hot out here and my camera's overheating a little bit, so I turned it off while I did some more scooping, and look what I turned up. Another turkey wing, another lucky limpet, some more moons, a really dark broad rib cardita, some chestnut turbans. Man, I'm sitting on a little honey hole over here. This is great. Oh boy. Not too far though, because look at that Murex. Oh, is he alive? Uh-oh. He's half. His operculum is ripped off and half the body is there. Uh-oh. As beautiful as that Murex is, I'm going to leave it because it's going to stink to high heaven. Hey.
What?
It's a gaudy. It's a broken gaudy, but a gaudy. All the way up here. We don't find these very often. The only time we find them this far north has been here at Lido Key. Oh my gosh. A gaudy nautica. You gotta be kidding me. Oh, look. And there's another moon right there. Oh boy. Alright, I have very little battery juice left. But I'm gonna make this my last show of the day. This beautiful baby's here that I just turned up, digging around some more in this pile. Lido, you have been very, very, very good to us today. Thank you very, very much for this incredible bounty of shells that we had to play with today. What a fun morning. You guys remember Keely from Come Shell With Me? She drove all the way down from Orlando today to come here and shell at Lido and just happened to catch us. We had no idea she was coming. So we just had fun finding some stuff. And she just got an apple murex and a beautiful moon snail. Oh, you guys, these rock piles, I'm telling ya. All right, time to dig around in a pile or two. And then we gotta think about getting off this beach and back to the car. See a nice crown conch right by me, babe.
What?
A crown.
Okay, so you're gonna have to
All right, he's kind of tiny, bit broken, but looks good from that side. There's just shells upon shells mixed in with this sand. What is this? Oh, it's a chunk of coral that had been coating over something. That's kind of fun. Ooh, dropped it. Cool little seraph though. Another fun worm. That's the second nutmeg John's found in just a couple of minutes. Aw, there goes a little willet. Hey, buddy. Yeah, there was more up above the other set of rocks. Well, that's a nice whelk, though.
Wow. He wasn't here before.
No, I think he just washed in very recently. There's a fun little drill shell. Ah. There's a little crown conch too. Oh boy, that's another rare little find. That's a rice olive. A little dwarf olive, a little rice olive. They're almost see-through, these guys. I think I got a little baby murex. Hello, little murex. Little small apple murex. And this guy just washed up and he is a beauty. Look at the colors on that juvenile fighting conch. Pristine condition. I think I got a cone. I do have a cone. Look at this little guy. Hey, little cone. John got a gaudy nautica. There's a beautiful lightning whelk with a little bonus seraph stuck in it. I just decided I had picked up my last shell, and then I spotted this guy. This humongous apple murex in great shape. There's loads and loads and loads and loads of shells over by this second set of rocks behind Sarasota Sands. It's like that sunset. Huh. Oh, a fish just jumped. New version of the shell mangrove, I guess.
That's gorgeous.
Look at all the willets. Oh my gosh. There'll be about 30 of them out here. And there goes our sun. Wow. Just ripped it right out. Jeez. Danger Inlet. Jeez, that broke off out there. Whoa. Man.
I also want to let you guys know that we are moving along with recovery here and getting this place fixed up. And sometime between the 12th and 15th, our metal to fix the carport is going to be showing up. We have finally rounded up the supplies we need to finish that, besides what had to be special ordered. And so far, John has already gotten the window changed out in the front of the house and just picked up the siding so he can fix the trim around it and the other pieces on the other side that had holes put through them. So we are actually making some progress right now. Unfortunately, video-wise, I don't have anything to really show other than a window being replaced just yet. But once he starts moving along on the roof, we will be able to show that to you guys. And again, I cannot say thank you enough to everybody who helped us with this. To Charmin from SWF Beach Life, my shell buddy and sister, thank you for setting this up for us, and for all the folks who have helped us along on this journey to try to recover from these two storms. The area looks a little tough right now, but we still have a home, and that's more than some people can say. I'll be covering this topic a little more in depth in a future video, but we've got folks that are finding themselves in places that have been condemned, that they are not allowed to go ahead and fix. We've got other folks butting up against that whole 50% FEMA rule. We have insurers who are not all that excited to pay out claims. And from Ian, we had adjusters who were whistleblowers talking about how their reports and that were sent into the insurers were changed after they were submitted. So there's been a lot of really insane stuff going on down here, and I can't thank you enough for you guys helping us to fix what we have so that we still have a home. We are very fortunate to be out of the major floodplain. We're in a zone C, D sort of a situation where we're about 19 feet above sea level, or rather that it would take 19 feet of storm surge to flood here, with the house up a couple of feet too, because that's just how they're built. So we're very fortunate that we are inland a little bit and off of the water and a little bit higher in elevation. Unfortunately, after Hurricane Debbie, a lot of folks found out that they didn't think they were in a floodplain either and got flooded where it had never flooded before. So we're going to be covering all of that and some other topics about scams and thieves and liars in a separate video coming soon. But for right now, I wanted to share what it looks like out at South Lido, what some of the shelling has looked like there with a sneak peek, and just a thank you to your continued support, your continued interest in Southwest Florida and my little neck of the woods here in the Central Gulf with our shelling, our beaches, and our beautiful little communities that we hope very much will be intact and restored very, very soon. From a shelling standpoint, now that the beaches are beginning to open, you can actually get to a few places, and we have covered those topics, but I will go through them real quick again, just in case you happen to miss the last couple of videos or you're a new viewer who hasn't subscribed yet. On Lido, you can park near Lido North, and you can park near where the pool is at the public beach access there. Sand cleaning and removal operations have progressed to the point where there are parking spaces now, and you can actually get out on these beaches, which are both reopened officially by Sarasota County. They've also officially reopened Nokomis Beach and Venice Beach. You may see a little damage over there. You may not have as much parking as you're used to over there, but you can still get to those beaches. You can also go to Sharky's by the pier down in Sarasota County in Venice, which is situated right by Brohard Beach and Service Club Park Beach. Casperson Beach as well, just a little further south of there, but the road to Casperson is not open. Park facilities have not been repaired, and it doesn't look like it's going to for quite some time as the road is completely damaged. They had a lot of digging out to do over there. The walkways and everything were destroyed. So it may take some time for that particular beach to come back. But you can still access it by getting on the beach a little further up at Sharky's and heading south. Lots of people have been reporting finding lots and lots of shark's teeth over in this area. Some pretty big finds are getting shared on Facebook. So if you're into shark tooth hunting, you can still go in Venice. You just have to get a little creative about where you park and how far down you go and look. The Beach Cafe by the Holmes Beach area is reopened, and there are some parking spaces along where Coquina Beach and things like that are, where you can actually get out there and access the beaches there. There has been an awful lot of sand stripped off of them. They're sanding, sifting, and putting it back on the beach. Not a particularly hot spot for shelling by any stretch of the imagination before this happened, but I have not been able to actually get out there and go take a look and see if shells have showed up somewhere where they were not found before. Other shelling locations around the Sarasota Manatee area that you can actually hit include Bayfront Park, which is on Longboat Key. Park over at the community park, cross the street, and head down the ramp, and you will have a vast expanse of beach that you can explore. That really didn't used to have a lot of great shelling on it, but when we were there, we saw a lot of really, really, really cool stuff. So I would take a look at Bayfront Park if you're inclined to go out and take a look. Now for South Lido, you can access the beach kind of the way we did. A number of the beach access points haven't been cleared off yet, but if you can skin through there, you can get onto the beach and go take a look around and see what stuff looks like. I'm going to just tell you that piles over by the rocks behind Sarasota Sands and the Orchid are absolutely mind-blowing, but it's not all that easy to get out to them, and South Lido Key Beach Park has not been reopened just yet. For up in Pinellas County, you can go over to Pass Grill, park on the Dog Beach side, the bay side, hit near where Islands and Resort is, and go around the bottom. Once you get to where the rocks are, above the rocks, monster shell pile. When we were there, it was like 6 feet thick, and there have not been any storms nor high tides to remove that. So unless they groomed it with equipment and removed it, that shell pile should still be there. You'll also be looking at piles just like this in Sunset Beach. You will not be able to park in the turn parking lot. You will have to go above it to the Ring-Billed Gull parking lot and attempt to park and access the beach from there. The pavilion near the turn parking lot has been heavily damaged. The walkways are not there, so the best place to get onto the beach is over where the Ring-Billed Gull parking lot is. Expect damage, pick your way through carefully. Big shell piles will pay off if you do so. I want to thank you so much for joining us this week on this adventure to South Lido Key. If you haven't already subscribed to the channel, I do invite you to do so and get those notifications for when the next videos drop, because there's more shelling from Lido pre-Helene and post-Milton yet to come. Jaw-dropping finds, some cool rare stuff, lots of neat things to share with you. Remember, if you want to have adventures like these, you know what you need to do. Get out there and go shelling!